Welcome to this explainer. Okay, we're gonna kick things off today with a pretty unsettling premise. Right now, literally as you're watching this, your brain is actively lying to you. Not just occasionally and not just when you're tired, we're talking every single second of the day. It's a biological deception happening entirely without your permission.
I mean, you probably trust your senses, right? We all do. But scientists and psychologists have actually confirmed something kind of wild. Everything you see, hear, and remember, it's a filtered, edited fiction. Your brain isn't showing you a live feed of the real world, it's handing you a highly curated story designed basically to keep you safe and save energy.
So let's look at the numbers here, because this massive disparity is just mind-blowing. At this exact moment, your brain is processing roughly 11 million pieces of information every single second. But your conscious mind, it can only handle about 50 of them. Just 50. So what happens to all that missing data? Well, your brain just guesses the blanks. It's essentially playing a high-stakes game of Mad Libs with your reality.
And because of this huge processing bottleneck, your brain relies on what's called predictive processing. It is literally painting over the gaps in your reality with guesswork. Think about your vision. You have a physical blind spot in your eyes where there are no photoreceptors, but you never see a black hole hovering in front of you, do you? That's because your brain seamlessly fills it in without you ever noticing a single brushstroke.
Section 1. Your memories are fiction. Let's see how this builds into the brain's fake past.
You see, this mechanical deception doesn't just mess with your present, it directly corrupts your past. When information is missing from a memory, your brain absolutely hates that emptiness. So it quietly stitches together fragmented pieces using emotion and imagination. We call this confabulation. Your mind will create false memories that feel indistinguishable from the truth, and you won't even realize it's happening.
What's really fascinating here is how modern neuroscience has fully caught up with Immanuel Kant's centuries-old philosophical insight. He realized that we can never know the world exactly as it is, only how our minds are structured to experience it. The colors, the sounds, the meaning you extract, all of it is constructed entirely inside your skull.
To save energy, your brain relies on these rapid-fire shortcuts. It routinely mistakes a fast, familiar, or loud answer for the right one. If a thought pops up quickly, your brain assumes it's brilliant. It treats feelings as objective facts, quietly shutting the door on any deeper, logical analysis just to save a few precious calories.
Moving on to Section 2, the neuroscience of choices.
Now, what's super interesting is how these very same illusions actively sabotage our everyday choices. Peer-reviewed research in psychiatry and behavioral sciences shows that our decisions are heavily distorted by cognitive biases. And these aren't just quirky personality traits, they are deeply rooted in the physical structures of your brain.
This brings us to a massive internal battle happening right inside your head. On one side, you've got the prefrontal cortex, that's your logic and planning center. On the other side, the amygdala, which processes emotion and fear. In stressful situations, the emotional amygdala frequently just total overrides the logical prefrontal cortex. This biological tug-of-war leads straight to biases like loss aversion. Thanks to the amygdala, we have this intense fear of losing what we already have, which makes us irrationally risk-averse. We'll literally avoid making a positive change in our lives just because the thought of losing feels so much worse than the joy of gaining.
And because the amygdala is pulling the strings, we constantly end up calculating risk with our feelings instead of actual numbers. It's why we tend to value a really vivid story way more than cold, hard statistics. We ignore base rates, we underestimate long-term consequences, and we completely mistake a confident voice for actual competence.
All right, Section 3, social illusions and ego.
So, the crucial point here is that your brain isn't just misreading data, it's actively lying to protect your ego and social standing. Take the spotlight effect. Because you are hyper-aware of your own mistakes, your brain assumes everyone else is too. It mistakes its own intense internal surveillance for external attention, trapping you in a stressful performance that literally no one else asked for. It even lies about your own motives. You might make a choice based entirely on fear or habit, and then, almost instantly, your brain fabricates a completely logical-sounding reason for why you did it. This post hoc rationalization perfectly preserves your self-image, making you feel like a totally rational actor when you are really just running on autopilot.
Which leads us to Section 4, the price of comfort.
Protecting your ego and saving mental energy, it comes with a steep, hidden price tag. Your brain basically uses your present emotional state as its default template.
It assumes whatever you're feeling right now, whether it's anxiety or comfort, is a permanent reality that will just project forward forever.
So what's the cost of this stagnation? Well, by overestimating the pain of short-term discomfort and completely discounting slow-moving threats, your brain convinces you that doing nothing is the safest bet. It makes you believe that staying exactly the same has no consequences, prioritizing immediate comfort over your actual long-term well-being.
Finally, Section 5. Outsmarting your own mind.
So, how do we actually fight back against an organ that prefers a comfortable lie over a complex truth? Well, because all this behavioral science research is freely available, we can use these insights to basically bypass our own flawed biology and start making much more rational decisions.
We can do this by deliberately nudging our own behaviors. Things like recognizing that emotional discomfort is just a biological signal, not a hard fact. We need to question our early certainties and reframe our choices to look at actual long-term data. It's all about slowing down those rapid-fire emotional responses to force the prefrontal cortex back into the driver's seat.
The absolute biggest takeaway from this explainer is this: awareness is the antidote. Do not trust the illusion of certainty. Just because a decision feels mentally easy doesn't mean it's the truth. Confidence is not competence. Genuine understanding requires effort, a bit of discomfort, and a very healthy dose of self-skepticism.
So, as you go about the rest of your day, I want you to look closely at just one choice you've made. Really evaluate it. Ask yourself, did you actually make it logically, or did your brain simply write a very comfortable story to convince you that you did?